Don't have any contact with police. Police can easily send you to военкомат after you will be mobilized for no reason. Russian government sent a tank to Russian-Georgian border. We spent on a line of cars from Russia to Kazakhstan 3 days. We start thinking that we're out of gas.
A fear of being unsafe at your home.
Maybe I should move somewhere just for some time. We thought it will be a bad idea to go to Georgian border. I want to be with my family, I want to be with my friends and try to live a normal life.
So, alright guys, this is Igor in Russia, and in this video we get an excellent opportunity to talk with Dima from Russia, a Russian YouTuber who has also escaped from being mobilized to another country. We're going to hear about his thoughts, his experiences. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to this channel. I'm Igor in Russia. I make videos with a Western perspective about Russia and especially my most beloved city, Saint Petersburg. And also, if you like the content, also to Dima's YouTube channel. So let's go. All right, Dima, hi man, how you doing?
Hello Igor, doing fine, but still a little bit nervous being outside Russia.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I can imagine, but actually I can't, since I traveled to Russia, for example, and I'm always traveling as a foreigner, and that's a whole different situation. Even though being close to Russia, I can't imagine how you feel, but that's why it's very interesting to actually talk with you. I've seen a lot of videos from you, and you started your journey. Before we get into this whole thing, maybe you could present yourself. Who are you? What's your connection to I know you're from Saint Petersburg. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
I born in Russia, in a small town of Russia, in another region, not in Saint Petersburg. So I moved in Saint Petersburg in 2014. I never imagined that I will go somewhere in a different country, but I didn't think that will happen so soon and so unexpected. So that was not so easy decision, but I didn't see the different choice. So that was just for my safety. And in this situation, like now, when mobilization is going, it's another reason to don't have any contact with police, because police can easily send you to военкомат, Russian military office, or and after you will be mobilized for no reason, because as you know, it's happening with anyone, even if you have a lot of kids, even if you have some diseases, don't have arm or leg or something. It's a lot of mistakes which военкомат making. I don't know why. They just want to make a plan, and that's it. That's only one reason.
So that was the moment you decided to leave, because of that fear and that fear of being unsafe at your home, right? So how did that process? What did you then decided? Like, well, I'm gonna leave. How did you start planning, and what were the following actions?
Yeah, the first night I spent just trying to sleep well and think about what's gonna happen next in near few days about that mobilization, because I was filming a few videos for Nikki in survey on the Russian streets, and I was making it through the my thoughts about what's gonna happen with me personally. So I was asking people and thinking, what should I do in this case? And I started thinking, maybe I should move somewhere for some time for Kazakhstan or Georgia, because it's most popular
Destinations.
destinations to move. It was Georgia. It was popular even before all that happened, just for tourism. Kazakhstan, it was a little less popular because not so touristy country. But well, I start searching for flight tickets, for train tickets, for any tickets, and I realized that no cheap tickets on that time, and I don't know, I can't spend so much money, because I don't know how much I will spend on for accommodation in that area, because it's the price for accommodation too was really high, and it's same high, because I'm staying in a hotel, and it's very expensive for me, and from for Kazakhstan too, it's very high price. So I started searching the Telegram chats, where people trying to help each other, to find someone to move abroad together. And I found one guy who was planning to go from Saint Petersburg on his car to Georgia or Kazakhstan, and he was thinking more about Georgia. But after we start moving with him and with another guy closer to the border, closer to the country, we realized that there will be more difficulties when you're gonna pass the border, because more people on the border, more people on the line of cars. There's how to say, the tank. Russian government sent a tank to Russian-Georgian border, and they will created some mobile военкомат, mobile military office on the Russian-Georgian border, and we decided to go to Kazakhstan, because there's a bit less people and no военкомат, and that's how we started moving to Kazakhstan side.
You can continue in a bit, but I want to ask I've also heard about it like weeks ago, about the Voenkomat office at the Georgian border. I don't know, and also I think in Finnish border as well. Maybe, I'm not sure. Before the border closed, from Finland side for Russians. But does the Voenkomat office actually do anything, or is it just to scare people? Like, do they grab people, or what happens? What's the idea? I never understood that.
I think it's more to more fear when you come into the border, because even if on Kazakhstan border we didn't have any военкомат, but when you're trying to pass the border, the border officer, he can say that you can't cross the border, because you're on some wanted lists by военкомат, and you just can't cross the border, and they just giving you some ticket, some paper, that you need to go to your local военкомат in your place and check the info why you can't go abroad. So военкомats, mobile военкомats on Finnish and Georgian border, I guess it's more just for make people more
unpleasant.
Yeah.
Don't think again, something like that. Like you did, actually. It worked, basically, since you didn't want to go to Georgia.
Yeah, we both, we both who was in our car, we thought it will be a bad idea to go to Georgian border.
All right. So what then? You decided to go to Kazakhstan, and what was that experience like? I still see videos from that, and I know about the taxi drivers and people trying to benefit, and some people helping, but I guess it might have been not as bad as now, or I don't know. You tell me. What was it like?
we spent on a line of cars from Russia to Kazakhstan 3 days. We were trying to get closer to the border. Just for the first time, we thought we're just gonna stand on the line of cars and that's it. We don't move, just following this stream. After we decided to pay a little bit money for get a little bit closer to the border, but after that we realized it's a bad idea because that people who trying to make some money on people's fear, people just trying to hurry across the border, and they're just want to money but not help to the people, and even though we bought that place on a line of cars, we didn't move so close to the border, and we spent a lot of time on the line. So
3 days.
That, yeah, 3 days. Toilet on some field, and we were lack of gas. So when we were moving closer to the first road police officer, we start thinking that we're out of gas. So it will be a trouble.
What would have happened? So you would push the car or what?
We can buy some gas from other guys who just can go to gas station and bring you some gas in some bottles, big bottles, 5-liter bottles. And we decided to cross the border on foot. And after we realized that it's not so easy because you can't cross the border on foot, and we start searching for new opportunities, and we found one guy who offered us to we can pay 5,000 rubles for each one person in a car, and he can we can cross the border with him on his car, because he was former border officer on that on border.
But that's pretty cheap, because 5,000, well, in Russia it's a lot of, well, pretty decent amount of money, but
sorry Igor, sorry, 50,000.
Oh, that changes a lot.
Yeah,
because 5,000 is 85 euros, because euro is going down in Russia. But 50,000, that's like almost $1,000. Wow.
It's like an average or even more average salary in Russia. So for a month.
Yeah.
So it's not a cheap money. And
so 50,000, you pay 50,000 to get further down the line.
Yeah. And of course, it's not tiny money. It's not a pocket money for Russians. It's like average salary in Russia. And the funny fact I wanted to share: we in our car, the guys in our car, we all thought that we need dollars in Kazakhstan territory, because dollar, it's an international currency and everyone wants it and all that stuff. But we disappointed on that decision, because all the locals in a small town on the border, they thought they told us, like, we don't need your dollars, because we're crossing the border between Kazakhstan and Russia so often, so we prefer rubles to get to go to Russia and spend rubles there, or exchange rubles to Kazakhstan currency. So that was fun, in fact.
And now it's actually really low currency rates. Bad exchange rate for dollars and euros is being going down since it got very weak in the February or early March, and then it all over 120 per euro, for example. And now it's 62, 64 it was, but 62 a few days ago when I exchanged. So they lose money, a lot of money, by choosing dollars. So, all right. So how was the experience at the border customs or border control, passport control? Did they ask anything or?
Yeah, I didn't. They didn't ask me any questions. It was completely silent. I just give to officer my passport, and he checked all that information about me and gives me my passport back. But I was nervous about that process because that story on protests. I thought maybe our police can send some information on the border, so you better do not give he can't cross the border. I can cross the border, and I was worried about that. But maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's some they lost my information or something like that. Maybe I'm not a serious criminal in Russia after all that thing. I'm not guilty in all that stuff. So everything was fine.
So, what was your first feelings when you drove off, got in the car, and they raised the Schlagbaum, what you call it in Russian? So, what was it like?
I thought like I'm free, I'm in safe, and of course it was some kind of euphoria, wow, I can relax now, and even if I will be in somewhere in the middle of a field in Kazakhstan, it will be better than in Russia, hiding in my apartment and waiting for voinkomat come to me or police come to me and arrest or something.
What do you say to those who maybe, especially in Russia, who feel strongly about people leaving? Have you thought, or do you even mind? Do you even care what the other people think? But people who think you're like, I don't know, traitor, or I don't know, it's harsh word, just saying some ideas, traitor, or just what do you think about, or do you think about that at all?
No, I don't pay much attention on those people because it's it's my independent decision. It's based on my experience, and I just don't hurt myself more and get in more trouble because I don't want to fight, and because I don't share that reasons why Russia and Ukraine about that conflict. So. I don't want to be involved in that in that conflict because I just know I want to be with my family. I want to be with my friends and try to live a normal life, but not to fight and all that all that can happen with me. It will affect my family, and they start nervous, they start suffering because I'm not with them and all that stuff. It will lead to a bad things in there and in my life. And
Do you use the word fleeing for, or what word adjective do you use, by the way, or does it matter?
I'm not sure, so I don't care what's
I'll just use anything. Since you fled Russia, and you don't know for how long, what are you like emotions? Because I know you love your motherland, you love Saint Petersburg, you love your family. You don't know when are you going to return. But what's that like? What's the emotional? Yeah, what's your emotions?
uh, I'm I lost in some in nowhere, in some place where I didn't thought never that I will go to Kazakhstan, for example, or for Turkey in this circumstances. So I thought it will be something more like a tourism or something like that. And maybe someone can say that like I'm in tourist in Kazakhstan or in another place, but it's not, because of course I'm in a hotel right now. But if I will stay for longer in another country, I will rent an apartment, and it will be a more, usual situation, like I'm renting an apartment in Russia. And my feeling about that, um, it was so unexpected that I can imagine what to do next and what plans in my next life, in the next few days and weeks. So I'm just on a stream of some actions which I'm trying to make some decisions, not based on emotions. I'm really trying, but at the same time I'm trying to choose the best way where to go, where to stay, and what to do for my future, because I'm not very good traveler, I would say. So I don't want to go in other countries, in a lot of countries, like for 1 month in this country, 1 month in another, like travel a lot. I don't want to behave that way. I don't want to so passionate on that process. I want to some cozy place and very quiet, where there's not so many people. Of course I like Saint Petersburg and some busy times, like just for some time. You go into a city center, you see there are a lot of people, you can ask someone, talk and meet someone. But on usual time, I want to go to some quiet place. And
I'm the same. Yeah.
so
City center is for tourists.
yeah, I want to go and stay in some quiet place, and have a connection to my close friends and relatives. And
So you haven't basically yet emotionally processed this whole thing. That's what I hear from you. Emotionally.
yeah
Yeah.
So it's my first experience abroad in this circumstances. So I don't know how to how to
Process.
behave in such
Yeah.
situations.
So you don't know what's so do you know your further plans? Because I heard from another video that was it like 30 days that you can spend in Kazakhstan visa free. Then you can guess extend it to 60 maybe, I don't know. But what are your plans next, since you have to be, well, it's expensive to be in that hotel. By the way, how much is the hotel?
It's the same. It's average salary in Russia. It's closer, approximately 40 or 45,000 rubles for the hotel.
For how long?
For 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. So it's very big money. But I just why I decide to stay in a hotel, because I don't want to stress a bit more when you're choosing the apartment from the locals. And at the same time I can't rent apartment for 30 days, because I can't stay here. I have not so much time to stay here in Kazakhstan, so I can't rent for 30 days. It will be I will spend more time for searching the apartment, because it's not so easy like in Russia. When in Russia you're trying to find some apartment, some good apartment, you're watching a lot of photographs on the website, and when you come into apartment, it's completely different.
It can be, yeah. But then there's rooms you can. What is good in Saint Petersburg? Good. Well, I guess in this situation it would have been good. You can rent rooms instead of apartments. That's a new thing, kommunalka type of thing.
Yeah, Kommunalka, да. I was living there in Kommunalka for a couple of months, maybe half of a year. It was a really cool experience with, yeah, that was cool.
So where are you going to go If or
Yeah,
what's
I'm
next?
planning to go to Turkey, and why I want to go to Turkey because there I can apply for renewing my passport, international passport, because the expirational date of my passport it's ends on 2024. And as I heard from the YouTube videos and some social media, people spending a lot of time for waiting their new passport. So it can take a lot of months before I will be able to get my new passport. So and the same at the same time we have a rule when you can't cross the border between countries, even if your expirational date ends in the next half of a year. So you simply can't enter the country when your
Yeah,
expirational
yeah.
date is coming closer to end. So I don't know, will I stay in Turkey after that application, because the prices in Turkey, it's like here in Kazakhstan, it's too high because a lot of Russians come into Turkey, and it's not so easy to find a very cheap apartment and have no problems with that apartment, with maybe a landlord and all that stuff. So I'm planning to, go to Turkey for the first maybe 2 weeks, and if I will be able to apply for that new passport in this period, maybe for a bit longer, and after I will, go somewhere in maybe in cheaper country, maybe in Tajikistan, maybe in Uzbekistan. I don't know. So what's good in Kazakhstan and countries close to Russia, it's a Russian language. So it's that language barrier. It's easy to communicate in such countries on Russian, and everyone can understand you, even if
Yeah,
people don't want to talk in Russian. They can understand you. So it's very
I
easy
know.
to
Yeah.
for some routine, routine stuff when you're going somewhere, when you're talking, to your landlord, when you're talking in the grocery store and all that stuff.
Did people actually, by the way, I forgot to ask a quick question. Did people, do you, your friends or somebody else, how did they react to you leaving? If they, I guess they
I did.
know.
I didn't say for all of my friends that I'm leaving, but I start posting Instagram stories on my page. Like I'm in Kazakhstan. I told like in English, I'm in Kazakhstan, and some of them send me reactions to like they were surprised, really surprised I'm in Kazakhstan. Mostly guys, like men. They thought, maybe I should go to some place out of Russia too, like following my example. And we talked a bit, like why I decided to go and all that stuff. I told them shortly my story, not related only with mobilization, because there's another reason. And some of my friends, maybe not so close friends, they left Russia too. Maybe before I left or after. Now I guess it's more difficult to flee from Russia, because that wanted list on the border, it's becoming more and more and more people in that wanted list. So you can just go to the border, spend the money for transferring to the border, and you can be easily the border officer will say you should go back, and you spent your money, and maybe it's better to hide somewhere in Russia. And I made a video on my YouTube channel about how can you avoid mobilization in Russia. It's not in recommendations, but it's ways how can
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Got it. So, what do you see the future in Russia? Like very like broad question at this moment.
I think Russia it's enough independent country from another foreign countries, and we have some, friends countries like maybe kind of friends. It's Turkey, India, China. It's they can help Russia somehow, maybe with some restrictions, maybe some problems, but they can communicate with Russian government and help somehow to avoid the sanctions from the West side. But I guess the people, like average people like you and me, and Russian residents, like citizens, they will live more, like their life will be worse because all that problems happening with international communication between countries. Of course, it makes our average life a bit more worse. So people will feel it in the future, I guess, even more. But people who closer to the government in Russia, they're receiving a lot of sanctions, personal sanctions to those people. But I guess they don't really feel the sanctions because they have a lot of money. So they can easily avoid all of that sanctions. They can, how to say?
Well, yeah, I get it. Like go over them or survive without them or like put things on hold type of thing.
Yeah, when you have a lot of money, it's easy.
Yeah. I will edit this between your other takes. That was my last question, but I will edit this earlier. Part of the how do the Kazakhstan people receive you, perceive you, see you, and how they actually welcome you? What it's like?
I heard a lot of information that people in Kazakhstan, in the south side of Kazakhstan, they are don't like tourists, maybe Russians, but I'm in town closer to the south, and there I can say that a lot of people who don't want to talk with me in Russian, especially, and don't want to help me somehow, don't want to offer me some help from their side. And it's people in Kazakhstan very welcoming, very I feel their hospitality, and they open-hearted people. They offer the helping hand every time, even if you don't ask for that. They just asking you, do you need some help with accommodation, with some banking processes, like make a banking card and all that stuff. And it's easy to communicate with locals in Russian, so it's very nice. And in the north side of Kazakhstan, north towns, there's a lot of Russians because it's border very closer to Russia, because they're Kazakhstan small town. It's very, very close to Russian town, and people there, of course, were shocked. Locals shocked. They were filming the lines of people to some administrative building to get some documents. As you are a foreigner here in Kazakhstan, they were filming. They were helping somehow, like bringing some food to people in the line. That was very kind, and I was surprised seeing how locals are very want to help Russians in that situation, hard situation when you're forced to leave the country.
All right, so thanks a lot, Dima, for this discussion interview and sharing your thoughts. It makes you think about a lot of things. So thanks for being here and just being you.
Thank you for having me, Igor. Thank you.
I advise you to subscribe to Dima from Russia YouTube channel, link in description. And also, if you like my content, of course, subscribe to that too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you in the next episode. We're going to continue with Dima from Russia on the next episode. Keep on watching, and meanwhile, subscribe to Dima and my channel. Bye-bye.